Hi, everyone. So sometimes I get this question that I think we all can relate to. And it's this question or fear, worry about reverting backwards in something to kind of lose a skill, or that feeling of reverting or going back to something. And that usually comes up when you've worked really hard to move through something, to transform something about yourself, to bring about a new skill or new habit, to bring new parts of yourself online. It takes work, right? It's a lot of conscious effort to do so. A lot of fears need to be faced, a lot of feelings need to be felt. And so it's an understandable concern to have that, ironically, as we move through something, that there might still be this part of us that's okay, maybe a little, that part gets attached to that place of where we've come, or the feeling of a place that of arrival to somewhere. And so I want to talk about that feeling of reversion. I don't know if that's a technical word, but I'll just use it. But that feeling is, and that actually stems from the mind thinking that you're in a place to begin with, or that you've reached a place to begin with. And so if you just hold on for a second, stick with me in this one. It's a little meta, but that the mind is it's a perceptual tool. It organizes our reality. It helps us see and understand and filter information. It's a very helpful thing. We need that. But the mind has a limited way of perceiving a lot of things. And there's a lot of things about us, about our world, that are outside of the realities of the mind. That it is going to organize things as much as possible. That we as humans have created certain things to kind of have a shared language, or understand one another, or move about our world and organize things in a certain way. But there's limitations to that, because they only go so far. Like language is an example. It's a very binary mechanism. It doesn't embrace all the nuances. So language can only describe so much. I know we've all felt that feeling, but sometimes there's no words for things. And so that kind of just points to this reality of that there are things that are in between, or nuanced, and one of those is us. We as humans, we as beings, also growth and development, and where we're at is also outside of the framework of the mind. It's much more complex than we're here, and then we grow, we develop to here, and then we reach this point. And so there are ways of kind of organizing growth and development, and that has been developed by developmental psychologists in order to give language to, or context, or understanding to the kind of phases or places that we can go. But even beyond that, there is this understanding. It's really hard to pinpoint and where we are in time and space. Is there a place that we're at, or that we arrive to? So with that, going back to this feeling reversion, that it actually stems from creating this in a way, marking a point in time of where we're at, or where we've arrived. That by the actual act of doing that is kind of an artificial way of freezing things in motion, and that but the act of trying to see a place, it creates a timestamp, but we're outside of that in reality, in a bigger way. We're always in motion, we're in flux, so really we're outside of that. So that reversion feeling stems from the approach or the grasping of, we've made it here, and so the only way you can feel that you're going backwards or reverting is because you think that you've gotten somewhere. And so how actually can we move beyond that and really see ourselves outside of these places, while still acknowledging that there is movement, there's change going on. And it's really tapping into that state of being. And that comes from presence, this quality of really being in the moment. And when we're in the moment, it's as if it is kind of collecting all of your energy and all of your attention and all of yourself back into the now. And it's a fullness, a wholeness when we do that. And so how can we also carry that energy in our awareness when we look at ourselves and our development? And so really, because of, so that's one question I want to pose to you, but also that reversion doesn't really exist. That we may feel like it, but again, that feeling stems from wanting the desire to be somewhere. So I just wanted to kind of shine light on that feeling, which can create a lot of suffering, right? A lot of stress and worry of, oh no, I'm losing the place that I arrived to. And in reality, we're always in movement. We're never static. And so how can you let yourself be and feel and look at and notice growth in a way that's more of a feeling and sense, rather than needing to quantify it or qualify it? It's outside of that. Growth is outside of that. We as beings are outside of that. So just wanted to invite that question into your mind, as what would it look like for me to really just be with my growth, and allow myself to be wherever I am in space and time. So I hope that that's of any help, and sending you all lots of love.